So I'm so excited to have you here with us all and to share you with our podcast audience today. Welcome, Donna.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here.
And we are going to talk about a very, asked for topic today, which is forgiveness. Donna, you do a whole host of different things, and you are going to tell us a little bit more about who you are and what you do in a minute. But forgiveness is something that I feel is not always in the forefront of people's healing. It's something that comes on the back burner, so to say, and maybe something we consider getting to eventually or someday. But forgiveness, in the way you work with it, also is in the forefront of your work. So before we dive into all that goodies, tell us, Donna, who you are and what you do.
Well, as you said, my name is Donna Tashijan. I am the founder and CEO of Vibrant Living International. And my passion is to help people to rise above the pain and disappointment that life brings and to live the life they have always dreamed with confidence and ease. I work with clients in coaching in groups and one-on-one, as well as I have a podcast and I've written some books. And so it's just my passion. It's like, it's not work. I just love every day being able to help people be who God created them to be and not what happened to us or what labels have put on us. So my workshops that I do, as well as my signature program, is called Turn Your Baggage into Luggage. And one of the components of that is learning how to forgive. Most people, when we have been really hurt, are very resistant to forgiveness. And when we are, I have discovered we really don't understand what forgiveness is. Have you experienced anything like that?
Absolutely, yes. And forgiveness, I feel when somebody often brings it up, it's more like forgiveness has to be about somebody else. And that is, and we will get into this, but that's what I hear often in my work as well. So how do you feel the topic of forgiveness is relevant to the times we're living in now?
Well, I don't know when it's not relevant. It's something that is always, it's timeless, I guess I would say, is forgiveness. But today, specifically in the times that we're living, there's so much polarization that's going on in the society of our world. So a little bit of, I said, man, we could change our world with just a dose of kindness. Just of kindness. But forgiveness is a little bit deeper than that, and learning to what forgiveness really means is a really important step to be able to understand what that looks like.
Yes. So tell us a little bit about forgiveness. What's your definition of forgiveness? What is it?
I think the primary thing to go through is what it's not first. And so some of the reasons why that I've heard, I'd like to hear yours, a reason why people don't forgive is, how can I forgive them? They're not even sorry. Or they keep doing it. They did it again and they're doing it again. It's like, how can I forgive them? They keep doing it. Or if I forgive them, they'll get away with it. Somehow they're going to get away with it. And somebody needs to pay. They need to be accountable for this. And if I forgive them, it means they get away with it. Or they've never told me they're sorry. How can I forgive them? They never even said they're sorry. A lot of those things are what I've heard. Have you heard something similar?
Absolutely. Yes. And it's that polarization that you brought up a minute ago, that kind of is the perspective. And in my experience too, like yours, is that as long as somebody stays in that polarization perspective and including themselves in that, it's hard to come to a different perspective, because forgiveness can be a shift in perspective, basically. There's, at least that's my experience working with others as well, that it's a bigger perspective, and whatever that means to somebody.
One of my favorite, I don't know who said it, and now I've said it enough that I'm making it mine, I guess. But unforgiveness is like drinking poison and hoping the other person gets sick or maybe even dies, if that's where your thoughts are, is like, and we think that for not forgiving them means they're going to be somehow punished. And the only person who's truly being hurt is us. It is really important to understand the shift when forgiveness is not what you think, is that it's all about setting you free.
So true.
It's about setting yourself free from the chains of whatever happened to you, whatever that person did. It actually is, you're in jail, if you will, in prison, and you hold the key. And forgiveness is a key to, it's like, how do we get over our past? How do we move on forward? Forgiveness is a big key to it. Now, the important thing to remember is everyone, sooner or later, reaps what they sow, including us. That's really what forgiveness is it's setting you free.
That's a beautiful definition of it. And so let's dive into your own journey a little bit, Donna, because I know that people are curious about you and your journey with forgiveness specifically. Can you share a couple of nuggets of your own journey, how you got to where you are now?
Well, I grew up in a blended family, and my biological father, I never really knew at all. I knew who he was. That's the extent of that. And without ever knowing it, I was a little girl that felt abandoned and not wanted. And there were reasons that occurred around everything that we adults can explain, but the little girl just felt abandoned and not really wanted anyway. So that was my foundation, which put me in a situation where I was vulnerable, and someone that I knew hurt me, and I became pregnant at the age of 15. Well, I got pregnant at 14. My little girl was born at 15. So I am 15 years old with a brand new baby in a decade of society which did not approve of premarital sex or relation or babies outside of marriage. It was much more frowned upon. And so my mother actually hid me, kept me secluded, and I was an embarrassment, all of the things: shame, hurt, anger, rejection, all of it. And I could have, and those feelings are justified, if you will. All of those things were true. It was wrong. It shouldn't have happened, and all of that. And all of those emotions are justified, if you will. But if I continue in that, I would have been a statistic of what a teenage pregnancy can be. You usually have more, and you usually end up in all kinds of bad situations. But I didn't. And the only key I can have, well, to describe those years and say they were hard, there isn't an adjective. Hard doesn't cut it. I was 18 with a 3-year-old. Just where were you at 18? It's like trying to get that picture in your mind. But the thing that brought me through is at a very young age, at the age of 12, I had an encounter with God and I developed a relationship with him. That was foundational, that brought me through that super difficult and painful part of my life. And I can say today, because it was a lot of years ago, that God's never failed. But without learning how to forgive, I get freer and freer and freer because I pursue forgiveness as a lifestyle, not a one-time event. I know this is a really graphic analogy, but it so describes what it is like we think, forgiveness is a one-off thing, but there's stuff that happens to us every day that irritate us, that we just let fester, that things bug us. And so forgiveness is kind of like going to the bathroom. You need to keep doing it. Stuff keeps coming to your world and you need to continue to process. So forgiveness is a wonderful gift that God has given us to help keep us free, just like going to the bathroom.
That's definitely relatable, this daily practice, right? That forgiveness can be and is needed to be to keep us, healthy and going. So yeah. And that's a very powerful story you have, Donna, that really truly shaped your life. What is the one best thing that has come out of your journey in relation to forgiveness for you?
Being free. I don't know exactly how to, that just sounds so small, but freedom's not. Maybe another better word is liberated. I just don't let, I'll say it that way. I don't let people's drama get to me, because most of the time it's about them anyway. People are getting upset about stuff that's about them. It's very rarely me. And so learning how to live drama free, to live liberated, to live at peace, to live at confidence, to not let the things that happen in life trouble you. Now, does that mean that, I walk around with a smile on my face all the time? No, but it's a lifestyle. Remember, I still have to go through the process of forgiving, but it is an incredible way to live, is to be liberated.
Oh, that's beautiful to hear. And that inner freedom, expansion that you have gone through. It's an amazing story you have. And in your work, I know you're helping multiple people to work with forgiveness, but also other aspects of life. Why do you think, Donna, more and more people, that's my experience too, that more and more people are willing to look at their past, start to the process of forgiving their past, because often it is related to past trauma or past experiences. Why do you think that people are getting more and more open to working?
I think that society overall has trying to destigmatize mental health, emotional health, and that kind of process. But I also think the last 2 years that we lived, people got still in a way that they hadn't before. We didn't have all the busyness, and you couldn't go anywhere. You couldn't do anything. There was just you and your family. And things come up. And so when we get still, things come to the surface, but we can, I call things our I'm okay Band-Aids. And one of them is staying busy. It's staying super busy. So I don't have to think about it. I don't have to think about what I feel about stuff. So if you're listening today and you think of a person or a time in your life and you still feel angst, that ugh kind of feeling, then there's some forgiveness that can bring liberation to you in that area. It doesn't mean you've done anything wrong. It just means that there's more freedom and more healing for you.
That's such a beautiful image and feeling to have within. And you just shared a very powerful tool with our listeners and viewers on how to identify where there's opportunity for forgiveness. I love that, because often, we know really where forgiveness can be expanded upon. We just, as you say, either keep busy or not wanting to go there, or another day, or
Mhm.
but
At procrastination, we'll do that next month or so. We'll do that later. I'm fine.
yeah.
And yes.
But for those who are listening or watching, who are really kind of, oh, this speaks to me, Donna, the way she describes this speaks to me. What are some of the practices or resources, in addition to what you just shared, that can be really powerful in the process of forgiveness from your experience?
Accountability is really important for forgiveness or from any type of, I think everyone should have a life coach or a mentor of some sort. Absolutely everyone. And it isn't something that ends. I still have coaches. We need people to help hold us accountable and help us see what we can't see. And to me, that is invaluable, to be able to have someone help me be the best version of me that I can be. And so that's one of the tools, because without accountability, we all know, we have good intentions for that diet or workout program. But when we're not accountable, it lasts for a little while. And then but if we know we're going to be checking in, we're much more apt to stay true, to do what we actually really want to do. That's what accountability is for. It's not somebody making you do something you don't want to. It's helping helping you to accomplish what you actually want to do.
That's beautiful. Yes, like accountability it's almost a word that is not, that needs to be transformed in a way, because accountability is really support,
Yes.
partnership, guidance, this beautiful common intention between two people or more, like you are working with groups as well, where a whole group can be an accountability group to
Right.
For a common goal or intention. So yes. So if somebody is listening right now and say, yeah, I want to I want to begin, where do someone begin? Like, what's your recommendation if somebody is ready today to take an action on forgiveness specifically, or their life to open up to more?
If you want support, schedule a call with me. Right on my website, which the link will be in the show notes, but right on my website, there's a schedule now tab. Schedule a complimentary consultation, and I'll give you some tools to your journey, because your journey is different than everyone else's journey. So personalized help and tools to be able to find the right resources for you on your journey. And it only takes just a couple clicks, and you will have the support that you need. It is so simple to be able to get the support you need. So if you're listening and you would like that support, schedule a call.
Yes, everyone, go check out Donna's website. Can you tell us what's your web address so that people can hear it as well?
It's the letter I, vibrantliving.com.
Great. Yeah. And before we, this is a big topic, obviously, and forgiveness is a liberator for, any type of past history, irrespective of what someone has been through. And in some ways, the transformation of forgiveness into putting it in the forefront of our healing instead of something that we may get to one day can change the whole trajectory. And before we wrap up this episode with you, Donna, today, I'd like to ask you something really personal, and that is, what do you live by?
What do you mean by that? That's a pretty broad question.
Yeah, it's a little nugget of wisdom
Okay.
that you follow without even thinking about it.
One of my coaches told me quite a few years ago, and it has not always been something. I would have said I had it some days, but not always. But it's been an intention in the last, I don't know how many, quite a few years. But my coach said to me to get up every day and proceed as if success is inevitable. And some of those days I'm in a fetal position. And somebody listening may feel that way. And I'm like, how do you get up every day and act as if success is inevitable? And it's learning to be able to, what's the one baby thing I can do today? What's the one thing I can do today to move me forward? And sometimes it's simply taking a shower, calling a friend, scheduling a call, whatever that may be for you. But it's choosing that this is not a forever. If your life was a book, let this period in your life be a chapter or a paragraph in your book, or maybe a whole chapter of your book. But learning to be able to let it only be a part and know that there is a brighter future, that this won't be forever, actually helps us to move forward and not stay stuck.
Thank you, Donna. That was beautiful. Thank you for sharing that little nugget of wisdom there. Thank you, everyone, for listening and watching New Light Living podcast. We will be back soon with another episode. Bye. Bye,
Bye.
Donna. Thank you so much.
Bye.